Exercise question 5.37. A disk revolves with the speed of 33 1 upon 3 revolution per minute and has a radius of 15 centimeter. Two coins are placed at 4 centimeter and 14 centimeter away from the center of the record. If the coefficient of friction between the coins and the record is 0.15, which of the coin will revolve with the record? Okay, so according to question, it is given this is a disk. Suppose this disk is rotating around this axis. A coin which is of 4 centimeter radius, that means it is placed on this disk at 4 centimeter radius, and another is placed here at 14 centimeter radius. So which coin will revolve and which coin will be off the track? So for that we know, first of all, it is given here mu is equal to 0.15. Rotation, it is given here, the angular velocity is 33 1 upon 3 revolution per minute. So if we change this into revolution per second, it is 100. 33 upon 1 upon 3 is 100 upon 3 and divided by 60 revolution per second. So it is 10 upon 18, or you can say 5 upon 9 revolution per second. Okay. One more thing is that the coin revolves with the record in the case when the force of friction is enough to provide the necessary centripetal force. The coin slips on the record if this force is not sufficient. So we know that the friction force F is equal to mu R according to the law of limiting friction, and R is equal to mg. So we'll say here that F is equal to mu mg, or F must be greater than or equal to mv square upon R. That means this force F equal to mv square upon R, or you will see here in place of V we can write omega R. So it is m upon R omega R square, the whole square, and it will become m omega square R. So to prevent slipping, it is necessary that F, which is equal to mu mg, must be equal to or greater than mr omega square. Now we will calculate in case of first coin. So for first coin, it is given here R is 4 centimeter. If we change this into meter, it is 4 upon 100 meter, and omega is 2 pi n or 2 pi nu, we can say 2 pi nu. We have represented the frequency with nu here. So it is 2 into 22 upon 7, and the frequency, that is the angular velocity, that means we can say here it is equal to 100 upon 180, 100 upon 180. Okay, so it is equal to, if you calculate it, it will come 3.49 per second. per second. Okay, that means we'll say here it is r omega square, which is 4 upon 100 into 3.49 the whole square is equal to, if you calculate it, it will come 0.49 meter per second square, and mu g, if you calculate mu g, this will be 0.15 into 10, then it is equal to 1.5 meter per second square. So what we have calculated here, according to this rule, it is given here just to prevent slipping, that mu mg must be greater than or equal to mr omega square. M would be cancelled, so it must be mu g, that must be equal to or greater than r omega square. Here the value which we have calculated you will find as mu g is greater than r omega square. This mu g you are finding here 1.5 meter per second square is more than 0.49 meter per second square. That means mu g is more than r omega square. So therefore we can say here, therefore this coin will revolve with record. Okay, now we'll see the case of second coin. For second coin we'll calculate here, that is r omega square. R is given here 14 centimeter, change into meter, 14 upon 100, and omega already it is calculated here, this is 3.49 per second. Okay, so r omega square is equal to 14 upon 100 into 3.49 the whole square. It will come approximately 1.705 meter per second square, and if you are calculating mu g as we have calculated before, it will come 1.5 meter per second square. And what we find here, that in this case the mu g is this condition r omega square, it is not satisfied. It is not satisfied. You find here the value of mu g, which is 1.5 meter per second square, is less than the value of r omega square, and this is not the satisfied condition. Okay, so that's why we'll say here this coin will be off the track or will not revolve with record. Not revolve with record. Extra question: the radius of curvature of a meter gauge railway line at a place where the train is moving at 36 km per hour is 50 meter. If there is no side thrust on the rails, find the elevation of the outer rail above the inner rail. So this is the figure you will see here. A circular track is there. In this circular track a train will pass. This is a track where this inner, you will see this inner track, and this is the outer track, and outer track is elevated by angle theta from the inner track or inner rail, you can say. So it is the height is h here, okay, and we are taking this width as L, and already it is given a meter gauge. A meter gauge, that means this L, the length, will be equal to 1 meter, okay, and this is the radius of curvature, you can say, of the circular path, the circular rail track in which the rail is passing. The velocity of rail is given 36 km per hour. If we change this into meter per second, we'll multiply with 1000 divided by 3600, that will come 10 meter per second. The radius is given 50 meter. The length of the track or the width of the track, you can say, that is given 1 meter. You have to find out h, and by no thrust is there, that means no friction is there. In case of no friction, we'll find here a formula that tan theta is equal to v square upon rg, and from the figure that we will find here, theta is equal to h upon L. So we'll write this also, that is, this will be equal to h upon L. So h upon L is equal to v square upon rg, or we have to calculate h here. So it is equal to v square into L upon rg, and v is given here 10 meter per second, so 10 into 10. L is given 1 meter here, and the radius of curvature is given, the value is given 50 meter, and 50 meter, and g I am taking here as 10 meter per second square. So h is equal to 10 would be cancelled, 0 would be cancelled. It will come 1 upon 5 meter, or we can say 0.2 meter. So this will be the elevation of the outer track from the inner track. This is exercise question 5.38. You may have seen in a circus a motorcyclist driving in vertical loops inside a death well, a hollow spherical chamber with holes so the spectators can watch from outside. Explain clearly why the motorcyclist does not drop down when he is at the uppermost point of death well with no support from below. What is the minimum speed required at the uppermost position to perform a vertical loop if the radius of chamber is 25 meter? So this is a question related to the vertical circular motion, or we can say non-uniform circular motion, okay, in which you will find in a circus a cage-like structure is there, cage-like ball-like structure is there, in which the motorcyclist is moving, and it is taking the horizontal loop also as well as the vertical loop also. The rider is just moving in the vertical loop also and the horizontal loop also, okay. So when he is taking the vertical loop, in that case we have already derived the formula there, that in the vertical case, if the minimum velocity will be root of rg, where r is the radius of the circular loop and g is the acceleration due to gravity, in such situation the rider or the motion will be safe, and the object will be not drop down from the vertical highest position, okay. So at the uppermost point of the well with no support from below, the motorcyclist does not drop down, and this is because his weight is being balanced by the centrifugal force, and in fact the weight of the motorcyclist is spent up in the providing the necessarily centripetal force to the motorcyclist, and hence he does not drop down at the uppermost point. At the uppermost point, the safe velocity which we have calculated here is root of gr. That means we can say v is equal to root of gr, or v is equal to, g is given 10 here for the numerical purpose. Whenever it is not given g, always we are taking 10 for convenience, and r is given here 25. So if you calculate this value, the root of this, it will come v 5 root 10 meter per second, or if you just calculate this in decimal, it will come approximately 15.8 meter per second. So this should be the minimum speed of the person who is taking vertical loop inside a death well. Extra question. A block of mass root 3 kg is kept on a frictional surface with coefficient of friction mu is equal to 1 upon 2 root 3. The minimum force to be applied as shown to move the block is, it is given here, this is a block and a force is applied in this way, just making horizontal, just making 60-degree angle with the horizontal. So what are the forces in this, what are the forces which will work on this block? First of all, you will see the mg, the weight of the block, that will be perpendicular downward direction, and the force F is applied here. So it is making angle theta. This is theta is 60 degree. So it will resolve in two component. The vertical component here you will see this will become F sin theta, and the horizontal component this will become F cos theta. And you will find that this F cos theta will provide the friction here. So that means the friction force must be equal to F cos theta, or it should be more than that. Okay, so what you will see means in case of if the object is moving, in such cases the applied force must be more than the force of friction. Okay, so in such cases you will find here that this R which is working perpendicular upward direction will balance by the two force mg downward and F sin theta downward. So we will write here the R reaction force will equal to mg plus F sin theta. Okay, and we know that the friction force F will provided by F cos theta. Okay, and from the force of friction we know the law of limiting friction, we know that F is equal to mu R. Okay, and this will be the minimum friction. Okay, so in case you will find in place of F will write F cos theta mu, and in place of R will replace the quantity with mg F sin theta. Okay, now you will see that F cos theta, that means the force of friction, F cos theta here, and this minus mu F sin theta will be there, and this is mu mg. Okay, now the force F, and this is cos theta minus mu sin theta is equal to mu mg. Okay, so here you will find the force applied force, the minimum applied force must be equal to mu mg upon cos theta minus mu sin theta here. So this is mu is already given here, this is equal to 1 upon 2 root 3, m the mass is root 3 kg, g we are taking here 10 and divided by cos theta is cos 60 degree here, minus mu is 1 upon 2 root 3, sin theta is also sin 60 degree here. Then further we'll simplify it. You will see root 3 will be cancelled, 2 ones are and 2 5s are 10. Okay, so you will once again you will see root 3 will be cancelled and 2 ones are 2 5s are, so numerator will come 5. Cos 60, the value of cos 60 is 1 upon 2. Then value of sin 60 is root 3 upon 2. So once again root 3 would be cancelled here. It will come 5 upon 1 upon 2 minus 1 upon 4, or you can say 5 upon 1 upon 4. So F is equal to 5 into 4, or you can say 20 Newton. Extra question. It is given here, a particle of mass 0.2 kg has an initial speed of 5 meter per second at the bottom of a rough inclined plane of inclination 30 degree and vertical height 0.5 meter. What is the speed of particle as it reaches the top of the inclined plane? Given here, take mu is equal to 1 upon root 3 and g is equal to 10 meter per second. So first of all you will look the figure here. This is a block of mass 0.2 kg and here it is given, it is inclined with angle theta. This theta is 30 degree. So the forces which are working on this block are weight of the body, perpendicular downward direction mg. If it is theta, this must be theta. So this angle, this component can be resolved. Mg is resolved in two components, mg cos theta and mg sin theta. And you will see here, as it is given, a particle this of mass this 0.2 kg with some initial speed, it is moving from the bottom of rough inclined plane and it will move to the top. That means the direction of force will be in the upward direction. Okay, so applied force will be in upward direction. Obviously the force of friction will be working in the downward direction. So we have to calculate here that what is the speed of the particle when it is reach to the top. Okay, so for that first of all we have to calculate this distance AB. Just to calculate the distance AB, we'll apply the formula here that sin theta is equal to AB, that is the this is the perpendicular BC not AB, perpendicular BC. You will look here, this is BC perpendicular, okay, upon hypotenuse AB. So this is AB, and that means the AB is equal to BC upon sin theta. It is given BC is H and theta is given here 30, sin 30, H is given 0.5 and the value of sin 30 is 1 upon 2. So AB is equal to 0.5 multiplied by 2, that means it is equal to 1 meter. So the length of AB is 1 meter, or distance of AB is 1 meter. Now we see that the force of friction. So net downward force which is working in this direction, you will see this is along the plane on the particle moving up the plane is. So this is on this block, you will see the net downward force is mg sin theta and the force of friction F, and that can be balanced by this applied force F. Okay, so we can say here this is F is equal to mg sine theta plus F, or we can say that F upon m, the acceleration, what acceleration will produce. So the acceleration is equal to F upon m. So we can say here this is mg sine theta plus the force of friction F. This we can write, this is equal to what? It is equal to mu g, mu r. What we are writing? F we are writing as mu r, and r is equal to mg cos theta. Okay, so we'll write this mu r upon m, or we can write mg sine theta plus mu, and r is equal to or balanced by mg cos theta upon m. So this m we will take common, and m will be cancelled out. So a is equal to you will find here g sine theta plus g sine theta, and g I am just taking common here, g sine theta plus mu cos theta. So g is 10 sine theta, that means sine 30. Okay, this is sine 30, and here it is also cos 30. Okay, so 10 multiply by sine 30 is equal to 1 upon 2 plus mu is given here 1 upon root 3, and cos 30 is given root 3 upon 2, and g is given here, that is g already we have taken out common, so I am just taking this as common here. Okay, so a is equal to 10, you will find 1 upon 2 plus this root 3 will cancel, 1 upon 2. So 1 upon 2 into 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 2 is 1, and 1 multiplied by 10 is 10. So the acceleration produced on the block is 10 meter per second square. Now we have to calculate the final velocity, that means the velocity at the top of the inclined plane. So that we will calculate by using the relation here, that is v square equal to u square plus 2as, and v square initial velocity is given here, that is 5 meter per second. So 5 square plus 2, and you see that the acceleration is there. So that acceleration you will find it is the negative acceleration, that means when it will go from down to up, obviously the acceleration will reduce, and that will be the retardation. So we'll write this as minus a. So minus a, this is minus 10, the magnitude is 10, and meter per second square. The distance s is the distance of this length AB path you can say, and which we have already calculated, this is 1. So v square is equal to 25 minus 20. So we can say v square is equal to 5, or we can say v is equal to root 5 meter per second, or 2.24 meter per second. So the velocity at the top of the inclined plane will be 2.24 meter per second, and which will be lesser than the initial velocity, and that's why the retardation will take place.